Clash of Clans podcast, OG, episode 41. And we're back. And what the hell is happening, Tip? This is 2 weeks in a row of
2 weeks in a
getting
row.
the first intro. And wow.
You're pro now. You're not
Wow.
only a pro clasher, you are also a pro podcaster.
I might have hit
What
my
it is.
10,000 hours. That might have been, that was it.
Okay,
I got-
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yep. I hit it right there. All of a sudden well,
We are in the presence of a master.
well, welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Oh, see, I almost forgot to do the rest, so I guess got to keep going.
9,999 hours.
Yeah,
one more to
here
go.
we go. I am your host, Scotty827, joined live in studio by your other host, Tipdawg20.
Tipdawg20. How's your tattoo healing?
Oh, it's sore. It's sore.
You still got to put lotion on it?
Every night.
Lots of lotion?
Lots of lotion. Just slipping all over the place. Oh my God. It was disturbing imagery listening to. Oh my God. So we have, we just had to launch into recording because we were already starting to get into it.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And we talked a lot about last week, and even when I got done editing, I'm like, well, there was a lot of stuff we just didn't even touch on, I don't think. So what is happening? What's the biggest news of the week? Kind of what's on your mind first and foremost this week? Tip?
I think the biggest thing on my mind, and this is something that I think we're both really interested in, is the meta is changing. Now, I consider myself a casual player. I know you consider yourself a casual player, but like my warden charge attack, like it's not working as well as it used to, like not even close.
Really?
And part of it is because like I'm not maybe entering from the right direction, or it's just not as easy as it was. So at Town Hall 16, like I had several months where I'm just smashing stuff left and right. And then, you know, I finished decent in Legend League. And then now, like, I'm still doing okay. We're in the midst of CWO right now. I'm still getting some decent hits, but it's only because the bases that I'm hitting are 2 or 3 or longer months behind the base building meta. So therefore, those bases or the players that I'm able to hit now in CWL have not updated their base. Well, now that they've updated bases, and now that we have I forgot what's called, the flame blower, the flame flinger, the spitters, the flame spitters. Like we have all of these really high damage defenses. We have an extra multi-archer tower, extra Rico, like that's enough damage to where me spending one spell at a time on the warden just isn't going to cut it. Because now there are multiple defenses that can take the warden down on their own, which means every time the warden comes up against one of those defenses, and these defenses are spread out enough to where I can't fireball them necessarily, I'm having to blow an invisibility spell, or I'm having to blow a freeze, or I'm having to blow a rage. Well, by the end of it, I don't have any spell support for anything else, and like I'm just coming up short. Part of that skill, like part of that's because I'm a casual player, and I'm not at the level of a professional, but still, it's frustrating, you know?
You could definitely be on a pro team.
Yeah. No,
definitely.
I don't know that I would be willing to put the time in that would be required to be on a pro team.
But you
like
have the talent.
I could probably get there. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I could probably get there, but literally I would have to spend hours and hours and hours. And I'm not willing to do that. You know,
I'm just saying you could do it. And like, it's not like you would have to work up to it. Like your attacks, you could do it tomorrow if you wanted to just put in the time, right? Like,
you're too nice.
You're hitting these like top bases, like consistently, like pro level, I would say. And so it makes me feel a little bit better to hear that it isn't just me. Just in the normal, like if you're using your normal attack and you're hitting, and then like you said, like the warden is just not getting Like I basically I think like right away lost like 5%
right?
for some reason. Um, without the eagle. They're, thinking like it is easier, but it's easier to get the town hall maybe, or you don't have to worry about the eagle pounding on you. But for some reason there's that like 5% that was at first, especially just like clawing at me, and it's still like stuck there somewhere.
Well, you're kind of going through this doubly because you went
Yeah.
from Town Hall 15 to Town Hall 16. And then literally a month later, Town Hall 17 is introduced. I mean, you pretty much maxed everything in Town Hall 16 within a month, but you had to experience the meta change because you were smashing everything at Town Hall 15 with your Super Bowler attack.
Yeah, I was
And
doing really good with that.
so we're at this moment, and this is, I think, the time when either a player loves it and they figure out a new strategy that they can use, or a variation of a strategy that they're using, or B, they just get so frustrated that they quit, which we talked last week about the reason why I think they made the town hall less dangerous is so that players would be able to get those 2 stars just a tad bit easier, and therefore not 1 star and want to quit the game. Like they'll stick with it a little bit longer, and to Supercell's benefit, like they're going to spend more money, they're going to bring in more revenue, right? All of that. But I'm curious about your response because you essentially went bam, bam, like right in a row from Super Bowlers working exceedingly well at Town Hall 15, and then at Town Hall 16, okay, but you noticed the
Yeah,
downshift.
I
Like you were
was
in 6th gear and you had to downshift maybe to 5th or even 4th on some attacks. That's what I'm experiencing. And
yeah.
now we're into 17. What are you experiencing?
So the one thing, okay, there is a C or a D. I can't remember what where you went in the numbers with the options, but you could also have your old strategy come back into fashion right
Yes.
after a quick little meta shift,
Mm-hmm.
because a couple weeks ago you said should maybe take out the bowlers on the 16, or think about it right on the 16 attacks.
Right.
And I did, and I was in flux and playing around with it. And then 17 came, and I was like, ooh, these throwers, right? And they basically mimic my bowlers in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then GCBC showed me or posted a Super Bowler smash for Town Hall 17 video in the L chat. And I thought, good God, hell to the yeah. And then flipped back right away. And I think it was just the confidence in a little bit that the Super Bowlers would work at 17, that all of a sudden I started to kind of turn the page more, or feeling it again right now. So I'm like, right now I'm feeling more confident than I have for the last like month and a half.
That's good.
Um, but I think up to this, like I was pulling through. There was my war attacks, really, like you could definitely see I went to 16, right? I was having good streaks before. And then just I guess I felt like I just didn't have a grip on it. Like it was like loose. I didn't have the control, and I still feel like that
So
more.
do you feel like you want, because there are two options. Option number one is just completely moving over to an entirely different attack, or option B is finagling and adjusting the attack that you're already doing in a way that actually works with the meta. Like which road are you thinking about going down?
I was about to switch completely, and I'd kind of started moving some things and practicing. Um, but when I saw that video, I'm like, okay, I think this is a time um to hone that attack, like with
Right.
Super Bowlers or whatever. But I think what I realize is that it is just absolutely normal every time you get to a town hall to feel completely out of your depths.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it is, you're gonna every time your war attacks should, because you're just gonna struggle. Everything's a little bit different. You're up against different bases. The graphics are a little bit different. um troops, it it is absolutely normal. So now I go, it's just part of the thing, so don't give up hope. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
okay, give it a month and this will be like nothing else.
Yeah.
Um so I guess I'm really excited about it. I think maybe part of it too is that I get to experience it with like you and everybody else, like this new town hall, getting to like figure it all out, kind of see it unfold. Where I was kind of catching up to everybody before. And so
Right.
now it's like, okay, it's all new to all of us. So,
Hmm.
everybody else, I'm just really glad to hear that because it, it didn't look like everybody else was struggling as much as
Oh,
I felt
yeah.
like I was.
Well, and there are going to be points in the meta where, for instance, and all hell is a great example, right? Because there was a point in time when Root Riders got nerfed, like that was the crux of all hell's attacks. Like he used Root Riders amazingly well, and then they saw a huge nerf. And I know he was struggling for a while to find what worked for him. And I mean, this CWL, like he's just totally tearing up. I think he's using a version of Yetis and Valks, right? I think maybe a
Yeah.
few Root Riders. Like he's doing what works for him. So everybody goes through their flux. It's just figuring out like what will work for me. Because for me, for example, I'm not likely to go with Yetis and Root Riders and Valks. Like that's just not my style. And
Okay.
All
Yeah,
Hell's
me either.
really amazing at it, but it's probably not an attack that I want to try. And
Yeah.
it's honestly it's the same with air. So I have never been a fan of dragons ever. Like I don't know if you remember when I came into House of L for the very first time back in 2014, 2015, and I was using hogs. I was always a hog player. I used hogs all the way up until Lava Loon or Laloon was introduced, the Lava Hound was introduced, and then I started switching back and forth between hogs and Lalo. But I was never a fan of dragons. Like everybody, ranted and raved
Yeah.
about One Hive Jake's how to 3-star with dragons video. I never watched it because I never cared to use dragons. To me, they're too unpredictable. Now, great, there are ways if you're good that you can guide them in the way that you want to go, but once they get past like the midpoint, it's kind of like they spread out everywhere, and I can't control them, and that's not my style. So I have to figure out what is going to work for me, and if that's going to be maybe that's not the warden charge. Maybe I look at a queen charge because the charge aspect of it is still really powerful. Well, can I get a queen charge and then bring in, do I want to look at Lalo again? I don't know. So I guess that's why I'm kind of asking you because I'm in that state of flux where what I'm doing is not really working. It's time to look at the meta, the base builders, what's changing, and figure out what it is that I want to do and what works for me. And the best thing that can work for us is if we can get something that works really well that's just slightly off meta. So, for
Yeah.
example, right now, air is everything. Like I'm getting hit with dragons left and right. Well,
Yeah.
if I can find a ground attack that works almost just as well, well, then bases aren't going to be built to my
Yeah.
just off meta attack. They're going to be built for dragons, you know?
That's what I hear when I think it was last episode, or people have been saying this in the chat too, where dragons are or air is going to be OP at 17. That kind
Mm-hmm.
of is what I hear, right? Like I don't know if that's something.
Yeah, I'm getting hit by dragons a lot
Yeah, a
in
lot.
Legend League.
And so I think to myself, oh, okay, now is not the time to focus on air because that's what everybody's going to do. So go the other way. Like of course I'm going to start to practice when I get up there, but like if everybody's going air, go ground to
Yeah,
have an edge.
it can be more nuanced as well. So, for example, when Root Riders were all the rage and everybody was using Root Riders, it would not have worked if I had said, "Oh, I'm going to do Queen Charge Hybrid," because Root Riders literally worked so well that even though that was the predominant meta within Clash of Clans, there were still ways to pick out a base and just completely demolish it, even though the base was built against Root Riders. So I think that it really comes down to the skill of base ID. being able to look at a base, and you talked about this as well, where, and we've talked about this in past episodes, where things that I have learned and things that you have learned in the past, we bring forward and use them with it, with whatever current attack that we're using. So, for example, at Town Hall
Yeah.
11, I did Zap Witches. Not much to transfer there. Town Hall 12, I used Super Witches. Town Hall 13 was hybrid. Town Hall 14, I did Super Bowlers. And then throughout this process, I used Blizzards as well. So now, whenever I'm looking at a base at Town Hall 17, maybe I can be like, oh, this kind of looks like, or I'm seeing bases in general look like XYZ. So therefore, maybe I can go back to my, Town Hall 13 meta and start looking at Queen Charge Hybrid again. Maybe that's something that will work for me at Town Hall 17, and reaching back into the toolbox to pull out tools that I've learned in years past and then moving forward on those. My unfortunate thing is dragons have never been in my toolbox. So I could do it, but man, I really don't want to if I don't have to.
You just don't like the dragons.
I don't. I don't
Yeah.
like hybrid, or not hybrid, sorry, flybrid or hydra, whatever you call it. I've just never, it's powerful. Like, it's a really powerful attack. I've just personally never, so at Town Hall 14 was when the Dragon Rider was introduced. And man, Hydra just ruled Town Hall 14. It's the reason why a lot of players loved Town Hall 14 so much.
Because
When
you just
everybody else was using Hydra, Tipdawg20 was using Super Bowlers. Just to
okay.
kind of give you an idea of how I looked at it. I've just always been that way.
Yeah. I think it's I've had my troops that I'm just like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm putting my foot down somewhere. I don't even
Yeah.
know which one it would be for me,
But
actually.
that being said, like, Hydra still is powerful. I do have the giant arrow. The giant arrow, extremely powerful. I guess I just
Where the
need to
hell?
work with it and see what I can develop, because right now my 3-star percentage is going down pretty dramatically, and so I need to figure out ways to get it back up again.
Well, I think it's probably everybody too, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
consistent. Um, like I said, like I was in war when I was missing, it was like 5%. Um, so if you were going to narrow it down to like one thing that is like really throwing it off, I mean, you kind of said spacing.
Yeah, so the one thing that's thrown it off for me is before, the Warden could get through multiple defenses without spell support. So before, he could take care of an archer tower and a cannon and a mortar that were all shooting at him at the same time. I didn't need to throw down a rage, or I didn't need
Yeah.
to cover him up with an invis spell. Well, now there are a lot more big boy defenses. We have the fire
Yeah.
spitter, we have the extra multi archer tower, we have the extra Rico cannon. Those expos are badass. Like, they,
You're
so
probably, and you're seeing
yeah,
a lot more of those in Legend League, I'm guessing.
right, exactly, and that's where I'm noticing it. So I'm not yet noticing it in CWL, for example,
Yeah.
because like I'm lower on the map.
That's
So
weird.
yeah, so I like upgrading my base, just like I like making love, low and slow and steady. Like, just
Simmer. On a
right. Just
simmer.
just take
Turn it
my
up.
time with it, you know.
Going to medium.
Listen, baby. I don't gym a lot. Like, I take my time, and because of that, I think I'm like number 13 on the
Yeah,
map, I think it is.
yeah. So what are you upgrading then?
So
Like how are you planning 17?
I did all elixir, all offense, and then my heroes. And I have basically any gems that I have. I've been buying books of heroes with it from the trader shop, but I haven't bought any packs from the shop. I haven't bought any gem deals as of yet, but I probably will have to buy like $20 of gems or something eventually, just because I'm so low. And then I'm just upgrading defenses slowly, But most of my hammers, most of my books, all of that has all been focused on my elixir upgrades, which are all done at this point.
Are they? Okay.
Yep. Yep. All done.
I've got to do my hero haul. Uh so do you have your scatter shots and like the new stuff
No.
down?
Uh, So I don't have the new ricochet cannon down, and I don't have the new multi archer tower down yet.
Okay.
So those are two. Because my problem is I don't want to have to change my base, and so the
Yeah.
moment that I put those down, it's going to mess up my base.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I'll just hold off and upgrade this other stuff. But I've been trying to focus on, for example, air defenses because it's such a heavy air meta, and so having those higher level air defenses will help out with that. But I mean, I have all my storages left. My queen is max, my warden is max, and I still have 5 levels to go on my king and my RC. And then I think I have a level or 3 or 4 levels to go on my minion king as well.
So how are you going to upgrade your defenses? What's like the order? Or are you waiting just on books on the top end?
No, so yeah, I mean, you're right. Like I'm in the throes of upgrading defenses and focusing on that at the moment. So right now I'm focusing on anything and everything air. So that's ADs, that's the multi archer tower. Like I've upgraded one of my multi archer towers. I'm upgrading the other one. Like I'm going to focus on all air first and then move to the ground stuff second. That's the plan, at least.
So what should I prioritize?
I would,
Like if would you do like air defenses over fire spitters?
I don't know.
I don't
To be
know
honest
either.
with you, so the problem with a fire spitter is they're very easy to avoid. Like, granted, a good base builder will put them in excellent spots,
Yeah.
but one or the other, and honestly, this is part of my warden problem because essentially with any attack, one or the other fire spitter should essentially be out of commission. But and this is again part of my problem with the warden attack, I'm essentially entering the base from 4 corners, which means I'm getting
Oh.
hit by both fire spitters because I'm not entering the base from one side. Like I'm not funneling and then entering the base with my super witches or super bowlers or whatever, from one compartment from the east side or west side. Like I'm entering from all 4 sides, which essentially means I'm getting hit everywhere by the fire spitters because they have such a wide range. And I think that's part of the reason. Like I'm
Yeah. It kind of makes you avoid certain spots too.
right, which base builders can use,
Yeah.
like if they don't want a blimp to come in to this specific area, or, maybe they have a Tesla trap that's, right here and they force you to enter that area where you walk right into the Tesla trap and a bunch of air bombs, so base builders have more to work with here. But personally, I would say, look, if it's air based, upgrade it because to me, it looks like the meta is leaning towards air at the moment.
Okay. I've been prioritizing as much as I can. Like I'm trying to get my Archer Tower up. I've been doing my I did my fire spitters. I just want to get that stuff down. And it was like right before CWL this came out,
Right.
December 2024.
Which we've been doing really well.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Looks like we're going to finish in second place.
We should.
And
I
a
was looking
little
at
bit
it last night. Like it looked like consistently all the other clans are performing in that same place. Like if the one clan if we scored um if the one clan faced the same clan we faced, we'd be up like 4 stars.
right, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and this is the first month that we've done 30 in House of L, and we also did 30 in House of L2. Like, how do you felt it's gone? Like, do you feel it's gone okay, smoothly? Like
Oh my
the
god.
levels are moving up, all of that?
This has been just CWL, you mean?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like so that was going to be my big shout out this week was to you and Chewy um for doing the strategy stuff with the CWL, and I think it's been a cool move. So what we did, and we were just kind of getting into the details before, but it is we did the 30 um and basically said we're going to rotate out the basic lowest attack or
Yeah, so and we haven't been doing it super heavy, but basically we want to get to the point to where we have 16 accounts in a 15 versus 15. and we rotate out the lowest performing hit of every war. But also, like we're getting to that point to where we're competitive, like we're right there on the cusp, right?
Yeah.
And so we want to encourage people to just hit the best that they can and to really focus more on at least trying to get the 2 star. Like that's like for forget
Yeah.
about 3 star. If we can all at least 2 star and then have, some of our better guys 3 star, like we're gonna do really well, but we gotta avoid the 1 stars as much as possible. So basically, if somebody gets a 1 star, we rotate them out and rotate another account in. That's basically what we've been doing.
I like that. I
It's been
was,
working well.
yeah, because even so for me as an attacker, right? Like we've talked about it. Let's go for the 2 star over the 3 star, or we kind of know, like in CWL, like we want the most. But every war attack that I've gone into, I'm like, okay, I don't want this 1 star because I want to
Right.
be in next war more than I want to win. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So like I'm looking at it going, okay, how can I guarantee that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the 3 star if I do it this way? You know,
Yeah.
this is the
Yep.
thing, but how can I do it in a way that is a 2 3 star path, instead of a
Right.
3 to 1 path.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the incentive that even myself, I can go for this spectacular 3 star and whoops, miss the town hall, end up with a
Fireworks are going off at
93%
the
one
end.
star. Right.
Halftime
Or like I
show.
can have the clan in mind and we put the incentive where it needs to be by saying, look, we love you. You're welcome this clan. You're an awesome player, but if you get a 1 star, even Tipdawg20, like we discussed
Yeah.
this in leader chat, where if Tipdawg20 gets a 1 star, he's sitting. Like
Yep.
that's just the way it's going to be because I did not focus on getting the 2 star. And if that's the case, Tipdawg20's got set next war. And we've
Yeah.
seen, like, I think we've seen an uptick and we've had some excellent hits, like all across the board. Everybody's doing really well, almost to the point to where I feel like we almost could have promoted. And I feel like next month or the month after, like, we're going to be right there. And then, like, as we were talking about before we started recording, like, that's when we start zeroing in. Like we look at what 15 do we want to take in to try to make it to champs 3, and then on top of that, like what 5 or 6 do we want to look at taking into esports matches
Yeah.
for 5v5 esport. Like it's zeroing in and getting better and encouraging each other as a clan, and we're just reaching critical mass on that, which is really exciting to watch.
Well, I like how we're doing it too, where we're all on the same level,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of role, uh, and that it's performance based,
Right.
so it's like objective, like, hey, this is how it's gonna roll. And like you said, and said it earlier, like too, that it's just that the structure of it makes the reminder just present. Like,
Right.
okay, this in this war, this is how we orient towards it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's a good pressure. It's like it kind of puts something like a little bit more than just pride, or
Right. Right.
the war win. And I think it's enjoyable, and it kind of makes for a little more competitive element. Um, and yeah, I don't know. So a big shout out to you and Chewy. It is uh going really smoothly. And a shout out to Tyler too for
Mm-hmm.
bringing up this Ore War idea that I had no idea about before, because we've been doing that in uh, CQ Revolutions, and Angry Wookiees have been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's been different this CWL is that people are moving around between the clans a ton.
Right.
And
You're
so
seeing more chatter. Yep.
more chatter, it has been busy. People who are warring in L2 are just coming over to L. And so normally during this week, it's exciting and it's stressful sometimes, but it's way less stressful than it was like 3 months ago for sure.
Right.
Um, uh, it got really quiet, and so this has been fun. So I've been really digging this CWL. And it's been hard too with this update and just not knowing what we're gonna get for a war match. But yeah. So we only promote if we're number one.
Correct. Yeah. We have to be first place in order to go to Masters 1. And then
Oh shit.
same with Masters 1 to go to Champs 3.
Well, we have been eking up every
Mm-hmm.
war or every CWL. Like it's like that 5% every time. Just it's gonna be wild next month, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's a mix of new members that are coming and joining us. Didn't Jaybird join us last month? I think it was. And then also like our 14s are going up to 15, and our
Yeah.
15s are moving up to 16. Like as a clan, as a group, we're growing together as well at the same time. So all of that's kind of having an effect, and we have some monster attackers
Yeah.
at like Town Hall 15 that are just absolutely amazing. And I can't wait until they reach Town Hall 17 to see what it is that they can do.
Our mix is like, well, I can't off the top of my head. It's really hard to actually see now because the war map's a little weird. But it's 17s through 15s, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the 15s are people who upgraded during Hammer Jam, and
Right?
everybody's holding their own. And
Yep.
in this CWO, that's been the most exciting thing to see is that uh in the last 2-3 months, if we would have ran with that, we would have been just outmatched or
Mm-hmm.
things would have been wonky. I feel like because if we would have just said 16s, 15s, 14s, um, it would have been all up against 16s. But
Mm-hmm.
these matchups are just the 15s. We're just seeing the equivalents on the other side, or at least
Right.
16s, and the 15s can really do damage and 3-star the 16s.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed.
I do think what we should do, and I was going to say this in the leader chat, is to come up with a CWL All Star Award for House of L, like the month, or like a top three or MVP kind of thing.
Yeah, and I was listening to some older episodes of the Clash Clans podcast, and you
Battle
guys had
Axe.
a that was a Battle Axe, the
Yeah.
Battle Axe of L award or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was the Battle Axe Award. And I had thought about it a few weeks ago or a couple months ago. And was looking through a couple of clans descriptions and they had that and I'm like that would be kind of fun to do that and then
Bring that back,
yeah
dust
and
it off.
immortalize it on the website, or
Yeah.
somewhere where we can on the plaque.
Yep, yep. And we could post it in Discord and like promote it. And yeah, I think that'd be excellent.
Yeah, so we'll have to figure out a way to um to do that. So uh let's talk about your videos for a second, or do you have anything more on that?
No, no, huh?
Okay, what is up with this controllable siege machine idea
Oh.
you have?
So, okay, so I had a lot of extra time at the beginning of the week. And my schedule is just it's really crazy right now. Like I had to do a week-long conference, so I wasn't able to do like any uh no videos, nothing. And then I had like 3 days in a row where I either had a really short assignment or I had an all-day assignment that got canceled last minute, which I love because I still get paid for those. And so I
Nice.
just had time to sit and think. And the new what do you call it? The new scenery came out, and I was looking at it, and I was like, wait a second,
Staring at it for an hour and a half.
wait a second. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna make a video on it. I don't know if it's gonna do any good or not, which it really hasn't. But I found it so interesting because in the video, there's this what looks like a remote controllable siege machine. And of course, we know right now that we have the remote control heroes where you can tell the heroes where to go on the map. And like
Yeah.
it wasn't just one. So if it was just one RC, like one remote control, I would be like, oh, okay, that's. But they had multiple spots on the map where they were showing this remote control, and so I immediately thought, wouldn't it be cool? Because right now we have the wall wrecker and we have the
Yeah.
log launcher, we have the blimp, like, and all of those go at the town hall, like wherever the town hall is. That's the direction when you put them down. Well, what if with the new siege machine that we have, whatever it is, we can put a pin in the map before we start the attack and then put the siege machine down, and it will go to that pin in the map. And it's obviously going to be a ground siege machine, but it gives us another option. So maybe the town hall's out of the way, so I can't really use my wall wrecker, or I can't really use my log launcher like I'd like to use it. Well, how about this new siege machine where I can put a pin down on the map and then set it loose, and it will go to that pin, similar to how, we poke the screen and our hero goes to that point on the screen. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, as you're talking about it, I'm quiet because it's like my brain is exploding because I'm thinking about the the images that you had on online. So because it really kind of reminded me of a square Nintendo controller,
Right.
joystick, or an Atari controller, really.
Right. Uh-huh.
Two buttons, stick. In the images you showed, the siege machine has the joystick on the top of it.
Right.
But and when I looked at it, I it didn't look like a siege machine that we have, right?
Correct. Yep. Yep.
And as you're talking about this, I'm thinking to myself, well, why couldn't they just put that joystick controller on the screen?
On the siege machine.
No, on the screen.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
As in one button up and down for that lever.
Right.
So what if it was on the map and then you just put, you drop your siege machine and then you hit forward, or you could hit one of the two buttons to control it.
Yeah. Well, and another reason why I thought it was a siege machine was because you had the RC in the corner that the goblin was playing with. You also had the drawing in the top right corner, but in the bottom right hand corner, you had the exact same RC, but it was painted red. Did you notice that? And if you look in the tab for siege machines, when it says build siege machines, every single siege machine that we have is painted red. So to me, that was just one more indication of controllable siege machines possibly coming to the meta, and how that will change the meta, what it will do, how it will get through walls. Will it jump over walls? Will you
Well,
have to break through? I don't know, but
or
it's definitely interesting to think about.
or oh yeah, because if it could drive, it could just be a troop delivery,
Right?
or it could just be an add-on to all of our siege machines.
Like it trails behind the seat. It
No, I
pushes,
mean
so
like
it could
our
push
the
the siege machine
control.
where you want it to go.
No, like the controller, just comes onto the screen, and so all of our existing siege machines we could control.
Oh, I
Root
like that idea.
rudimentary, right? Like with those two buttons, not where we're like, fancy driving all over the map, but where you could just do the lever would go up or down slower, you know what I mean? This like
Right?
slightly go up, or those two buttons. Just like that would be very simple if they were
And
going to do it that like where you wouldn't have you'd have a lot of control, but you would have to like you'd have very very limited controllers,
you
right?
know
Like
what
the
I would
two
love
buttons.
to see this with is with the blimp, because right now there's maybe only one direct entrance for the blimp into the town hall or in for a blizzard. Well, if I can do this parabolic entry where I'm going straight for a little bit, and then I'm like doing a semicircle around the section of the base that I want to avoid, and then landing a little bit to the left of the town hall, for example, like that would make blimps. And then I don't know if Supercell wants this to be more powerful or not, or what, but like I can see a lot of potential with that. Especially if the meta at Town Hall 17 is a bit harder than it was at Town Hall 16. Well, maybe this is a method that players can use to be able to get their CC troops a little closer to where they want them to go. I see a lot of potential in this. Like, it's pretty amazing thought to me, to be honest with you. Like, your expansion has been amazing. You took it way further than I ever did in my video.
Well, that's what we do when we get together.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Well,
amazing.
and so, but I think you're absolutely, absolutely right. Like in looking at that video, I've been kind of hoping, and I thought maybe it was, I'd seen that image somewhere. You know, I don't know if it like in a post or something, or I probably looked at the scenery and saw the controller in there. Um, but with it being in there so much and
Mm-hmm.
such a heavy theme, it has to be.
I
And,
think so.
and it
Yeah.
has to speak to more than the event that we got. Because those controllers aren't in that event, right?
Right. Right. There's no controllable siege machines. Like, it's only the heroes and the hero controller, hero controlled event. But let me ask you too. We talked a little bit about Clash of Clans possibly becoming a real time strategy game, RTS, and this hero controllable event definitely brings it one step closer to that. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because maybe because I would love to have a great RTS game. I have a lot of great memories from playing Warcraft 2, StarCraft, Age of Empires, Command and Conquer, like that style game. So many great memories where you have the fog of war and you have to go on this adventure and take your troop and explore while at the same time you're building up your village in order to, be able to make troops and attack your enemies. Like, to me, this controllable heroes event is one step closer, but maybe it's just like I'm reaching way too far. Am I reaching way too far on this?
No,
To
no,
hope that maybe it could be an RTS one day.
no, I don't think you are. In fact, I don't know how we even got this far into the podcast without talking about this
Yeah.
event. Um, because this is like, this is massive.
Did you like it? Did you like the Controllable Hero event?
Yes, it scared me because I'm going to be horrible at it. Um,
Well, it was good. It was kind of puzzle-like. Like, it was a
yeah,
puzzle, but yet it was a little bit of skill.
I think this first unlock round is more like onboarding and teaching us how to do it more.
Hmm.
And then the next ones will get more complicated. Uh, but okay, so it is the Controllable Heroes Cookie Chaos event, December 2024. This is the first time we've been able to control something on the map like that, right?
Right? Yep, correct.
Select and
Uh,
move.
well, other than if you could kind of say we can control stuff on builder base, because for example, like with the cannon carts, you can stop them. You
But
can
you,
stop them from moving, but you can't control which direction they go.
yeah, you can't point and select
Right,
like
exactly.
next target, right? We can't select a next target with our finger up until
Correct,
this point.
correct. Right.
This, and then as I played it, as we texted a little bit, but again, it's like save it because God, like
Mm-hmm.
okay. Um, this reminds me of that newer game that they brought that they had, Squad Busters.
Oh, Squad. I
Where
looked at it, but I wasn't a fan, so I just dropped it.
but on that one you like move your thing, your guy, and you shoot the things, and then they come join your party like the pets. It's different graphics, but it's very, if I remember right, I played it for a little bit. Um, just too much to do in Clash.
Right.
So to me, they're like, oh, we just brought this element into it, right? Like we just connected our two games.
Mm-hmm.
We're using the AI and we're using the other stuff to put into this game. That's like, if maybe I just have a wrong read on this, but that is like a massive shift into a whole different direction. Because if they
Right.
can do that with that and make it like that game, well, they've already done it, right? Like
Right.
they did it for that event. So now it's in the game. They would not have like done something that big to just throw it away. Um, what does that mean? Could Brawl Stars, could this Brawl Star type thing come in? Um, like I saw a couple, I was watching that Judo Sloth video and there's a different game why not turn it into that? Like, right now, I think anything's possible because I, I wouldn't have imagined that they could have gone that far with this event. For I think this would be something we would have been dreaming about, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and this just kind of like, oh, it's here. So it kind of says to me like there must be some long plan.
So my only concern with it becoming a permanent part of the game, if it's within the game and the app Clash of Clans, is we already have two other game modes. And I don't know how you feel about it. Like you came into the clan capital later than I did. So honestly, now I do my clan capital hits and I just do them because I want the medals.
Yeah.
Like the medals are so valuable that I have to do it. So literally every attack I'm throwing down my not hybrid, my miners, my super miners, throwing them down in a good spot. I'm healing in two spots that I think they'll need it in, and then I'm force closing the app, doing my next attack, force closing the app. Like I'm just getting it done. And anytime a game enters that mode to where you feel like you have to play a portion of it, so much so that there's no goal, there it's just grindy for grindy purposes. Like I like the main base being grindy because we have a goal and that goal is being maxed. And so my grinding is helping me accomplish that goal. Well, with the clan capital, the grinding doesn't really help anything other than give me medals, which I really, really need. But as far as the base side, like we've gotten super miners. So who cares if we max out the clan capital? Maybe that's a negative view of it on my part. But
Well,
like
you can't
same with the
practice it either.
yeah, and the builder base, like the builder base, it's great. I think it's an awesome side shoot. But if they brought in a third game mode, like as much as I would love it, that might be too much. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I hadn't thought about it that way. I, I don't know
I mean that, and on top of all these
because
events that they bring in,
yeah,
like
because you're right. Like the capital you can't practice, right? Like you show up during that weekend, and I can't. It'd be different if I could throughout the week sit there and play with it.
I
You
think you
know?
can FC the clan capital.
Oh, you can.
I think you can. I've never done
I'll
it,
have to.
obviously,
I'll have to try it.
but I think, but again, what's the purpose? Why do I want to get better at clan capital attacks? Because nobody cares anyway.
Well,
You know,
maybe it's just like a different. I have no idea. I think you're right though. Like either you you'd almost have to do a trade off because yeah, you'd start to get into too many things. But maybe it
yeah,
is events or maybe it is like this. You know, what if a clan games was kind of replaced in like with something like this hero event, like once a month. It was
yeah. They're just gonna have to replace something just because there's so much going on as it is. And especially if there are any rewards attached to it, like okay, if you play this new controllable hero event, well, you get, and it's a weekly event or it's a monthly event, and it's this,
yeah.
because clan games is massive, right? I mean, that takes, especially if you have multiple
What if
accounts like me and Chewy do, like it takes you hours to get them done.
oh
So, well, what if you have the hero controllable event where you get ore at the end of the event? Like if you complete all 15 levels every week, you get ore, and it's a different puzzle every week that you have to lead your hero through. And you get 1,000 shiny and 500 glowy and 30 starry. Well, then you're going to feel like you have to do the event. But
yeah.
they also need to put something in there in order to incentivize us to play this new game mode. So I don't know. Like there's a
Let
lot, obviously, they have to work through.
let me ask you a question. Would it be possible for them to put the controllable heroes and stuff into the clan capital?
That would be so that's actually really interesting because the map is kind of already set up for that. Like it's a big map that you can explore. It's not a teeny tiny, like
It
I don't think of our home village as
it
like a
kind
teeny
of
tiny
look
map, but compared to it,
it
it's a
looks kind of like
massive map.
the the controllable maps. Like they're just square They have obstacles. They have
We
in
have stuff shooting at you. What if the clan capital became, and I don't know what it is. Is it a fruit cart? Hide the fruit cart in the clan capital. And okay, so this is genius.
I think we
Scotty,
figured it out.
you're a genius. So what if you had the fog of war in the clan capital? Are you familiar with fog of war?
Well, no, it's
So
foggy.
it was a fog of war. Sorry, so fog of war was a concept in Warcraft 2 where you could not see an area on the map until you explored it. Like it was all blurred out. And so, in order for you to explore and find stuff on the map, you had to send a troop into that area. And then, once you sent a troop into that area of the map, well, then it opened up and you're able to see, oh, here's a gold mine. Well, let me start collecting gold with my peasants. So that way, I can gain more gold to train more troops with. So, what if they made the clan capital? The entire thing was fog of war. So it's all blurred out, and you had this starting point and you could either do it with troops or you could do it with a hero, and you had to explore, and every map was essentially hide the fruit cart. If you get to the fruit cart, you defeat the map. And so when you're building the clan capital base,
Ooh.
you're building it in a way to try to hide the fruit cart. And you may think, well, I'm going to hide the fruit cart all the way on the opposite side of the map. Well, what if you put some really badass defenses on the right side and then you hide the fruit cart behind a tree on that side? So this player goes to the left thinking that's the easiest, quickest path to success. They go all the way around the map only to find that it was right beside them on the right side if they had just looked. And then once they get to the fruit cart in the clan capital map, that's when the whole map is destroyed and they take it down. You
There you
are a
go,
genius, my
Supercell.
friend.
There you go, Supercell.
You are a genius.
Well, you just
That would make the clan capital way more fun, in my
so
opinion.
let me ask though, like, okay, the clan capital as it is,
Right?
would they just have to? There's two things that I want because one of these things scares me. The clan capital as it is, they like cut troop. They just nerf all the troops.
Okay.
Add in the heroes there, or
Okay.
like one hero that's controllable, or whatever. So like, it is suddenly hard, to like you have to like work at it, right?
Right.
You put the controllable thing on there. Would that make clan capital better?
Oh,
Would
yeah. 1,000%
could,
better.
could it work with like, I'd like this idea of like the hidden fruit cart in the thing, but you could see it like happening in next month almost, right?
Oh, yeah. I can see them implementing this immediately if they
Now,
decided to do so.
what happens alternatively if they put the controllable hero thing on the builder base?
I don't see it working with builder base unless you had a fruit cart to hide in the first village and then a fruit cart to hide in the second village. But I see this working way better with clan capital versus builder base, to be honest with you.
Kind of,
Just
now that
because of
we're
the size
talking
of the
about it.
map. Like it's a map that you can explore.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why it's so boring, and honestly, I get annoyed now anytime I see a clan who has actually built their districts, like they've actually taken the time to put in to try to defend. Because I'm like, nobody cares. Like, why are you trying to defend when it doesn't matter anyway? So,
Would
and
be
so I get
nice.
annoyed when I see it. Well, this would force clans to arrange their district in a way that would be difficult to find the fruit cart. So, for
Yeah.
instance, in the controllable hero event, you don't have to
I'm
destroy the town
looking.
hall. You can walk right by the town hall and go straight to the fruit cart and destroy the
Yeah.
fruit cart, and the whole thing is destroyed. Well, I see that as the same thing. Well, what if you set up the walls in a specific way so that it leads through the clan capital hall or the district hall? I mean, like there's a million ways that it could be set up to where it's a puzzle and it would be fun and you could explore the map and try to make it to the fruit cart. And it would be incentive to build a different map, maybe not every week, but not just use the maps that Supercell automatically uploads. Because if you're just using the
Yeah.
map Supercell automatically uploads, well, Tipdawg20 is going to put out a YouTube video that says, look, if you are Clan Capital level 5, the fruit cart's always right here. Do this, 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 and you'll get it in the first hit. You know what I mean? So there's
Yeah.
incentive to put it elsewhere and to design the base in a way to make it fun for the opposing clan, but also at the same time, you have to make the rewards for defending better. Right now,
Yeah.
defense medals for the clan capital are atrocious. This would be incentive for us to get a decent amount of raid medals from arranging our base in a fun way to where the player attacking can't find the loot cart
Oh,
or
I'd
not
look
the
forward
fruit
to
cart.
that.
And it would make it more fun overall. Especially, honestly, I don't know that they'll do Fog of War, but I really think if they did Fog of War, that would just add a layer to it. That would
Yeah.
just be amazing.
Then I would add to this is my wish list. Easier to practice and that members can be assigned to edit. Because right now, like I think it would be fun to go in and just like play around and edit a base and try to make it work. Um or or maybe I don't want to, but there's a member that wants to, and I think only co-leaders and leaders
Right.
can edit the base.
Correct. So it would be nice to allow
Like
either
three
elders
people.
or a new category.
Yeah, like you can
Of
assign a member editing rights to
mm-hmm.
uh anybody in that because I guess you're gonna have people who just go mess it up or do whatever, but if it was assigned. But
Right.
wow. Yeah, that well tip. I think
That
it's
was your
Supercell.
idea.
No, it was our idea.
You need to get the royalties on that.
Well, let's hope they already have it in motion. Dear Supercell, dear
you're
Supercell,
you're welcome.
we're gonna have our Christmas wish list episode coming up
Yep.
down
I
the
got a
road
list,
here.
man. I got stuff that I really want Supercell to do. I'm excited about that episode. That'll be good.
So, what do you think about that? Were you just pumped about the event, like when you were looking at it?
Yes, because I was really excited about Age of Empires Mobile. I mean, we talked about it a
Yeah,
lot in
and you were
Discord.
waiting for that for a while.
Yes, I was waiting for like 6 months for it. And then it came out and it was nothing, in my opinion, nothing like what Age of Empires 2 or any of that entire RTS genre class of games was back in the day. It was essentially a building game and it had beautiful graphics, but it did not fill that niche for me. And so I would love to have an RTS game, where you're going head to head, building stuff up, like the RTS games we have in the past. And I think Supercell is the one company who's so focused on mobile games. They have the staff and the development team and all of that to be able to make an amazing RTS. I think the big question right now is FPS games are all the rage. Fortnite, PUBG, Call of Duty Mobile, like first person shooters are ruling the roost right now on mobile. Will there be enough interest among the player base to support the development of a really solid RTS? And maybe they can do that within Clash of Clans, or maybe they can do that in another app game. But that would definitely be something that I would be really excited for.
I agree. And until this cookie event, I would have thought
Never in
that
a million years.
yeah, I feel like this the more that we talk about it, and didn't until we started talking about it, I did not think about like the significance. And so it kind of changes where what could happen in the next year for sure. Makes it more exciting for sure
Right.
because you see some of these app games, and there was this upcoming Warcraft one that was on Judo Sloth's channel that kind of reminds me of this cookie event in a way.
Hmm.
And I feel like they're gonna have to uh bring in those elements of those other games that are making those other games
Right.
really successful too.
What's really exciting to me is that they're looking forward to the future. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Clash of Clans is it's what 13 years old. Like was it their 13th birthday or their 14th? I can't remember what anniversary there was this past August, but it's an old mobile game. It's it's ran its course with a lot of people. Like there are a lot of people who play Clash Clans that will not be coming back to it for whatever reason. We still have a pretty large player base, but looking to the future is something, and that's a sign of a gaming company that's looking to enhance what it already has and not just make as much money as possible out of it as we watch it die. And so this gives me hope that Supercell is going to take the path of let's continue making an amazing game that players are still interested in. We're not just going to monetize the hell out of it. Like we're going to try to do the best that we can to make this enjoyable. And the incentives are being put in place in order to keep the player base happy. Like I know we've had lots of back and forth on whether or not, equipment is pay to win and whether or not they're trying to get us to spend lots of money and all of that. Hopefully they're putting the incentives in the game for themselves to see this game last another 20 years under different iterations. So it won't be Clash of Clans as we know it forever, but it will still be here and it will just undergo changes over the years that are more fun and more intense, and just more enjoyable overall to play.
Yeah, I think like that. There's a vision, right?
Exactly.
Like seeing something like this pop in is like, oh, this isn't, and it's not like you think that like under normal circumstances there's no vision, but it's it says, oh, we're investing in something different that's coming because
Right.
we wouldn't have gone to all this trouble for
Yeah.
a little event. Same with the chess, same with a lot of the stuff that's kind of um those magic items over the last and
The
and I
snacks.
and I think the sense of like
Yep.
the town halls, back in the day sometimes, but then like how people have talked about like 15 or 4, some of those is that you almost get the sense of like stumbling forward a little bit. Okay, we're doing the next thing, but not towards something, like,
Right.
so that's my mind is um I'm excited. It's been an exciting season, and that's great when it is a new town hall, and like you said earlier, where people are like giving up, or you go, oh god, it's impossible, but it's like, whoa, the town hall isn't the biggest thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's
uh
a great point. I think they're really thinking it through. Like I think that they realize, for example, the town hall's too difficult to get down. And if the town hall's too difficult to get down, then that means your casual players are going to experience one stars at a higher percentage than what is needed. Like there's no reason for a player to get a one star. Like sure, they're not going to be able to 3-star because they're not practicing enough. They're not FCing. They're not
right.
taking advice from Scotty827,
Yeah,
in the
right.
chat. or GCBC or Chewy or any of all hell, like any of the players that we have, like they're ignoring strategy, like, but they should still, at least I think at a minimum, be able to get a 50% 2-star, and making the town hall less difficult to get down is one step in that direction. Now, granted, we shouldn't make it so easy so that anybody can free 3-star and people don't FC and they should be able to. No, but I do think that everybody, and that should be the bottom standard. That should be the basis for the game. Is everybody can 2-star, no matter how. I mean, obviously, we can't dump all your troops in one corner and expect a 2-star, but everybody should be able to 2-star in this game, and that is our minimum basis on which everything else we're going to develop. Now we're going to
Just,
still make the 3-star difficult to get to, but
yeah.
2-starring possible by anybody.
So basically, like more of a straight up ladder. Like if you're hitting a 1% 39, yeah, that's where it's going to be.
Right.
Not necessarily a 1% or a 1-star 99%.
Right. Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and so most people are going to fall in the between the 2 and the 3, and then we'll probably get maybe a realistic percentage.
Right, exactly.
Maybe.
And that's what it'll come down to. Like it'll come down to how many people can you have 3-star? Which I think that's the reason, for example, why Town Hall 9 back in the day was felt so well balanced, because even like in the True Sons, like we were a good solid clan. There were still nines that were not tripled. Like there were still nines that were not 3-starred. And it came down to percentage at that point. Like all the 10s were 2-starred, and it literally came down to percentage on the 9-stars. Like it can kind of go back to that, where sure, your better players are going to 3-star, and then you're going to have your good players who may 3-star every now and again, and then your good players are going to get 90% 2-stars, and then everybody else who really doesn't want to focus a lot of time on it, but they're still going to be able to feel like they're a part of the clan, doing their part with their 51% 2-star. And as we just said earlier in the episode, like getting the 2-star is really important, avoiding that 1-star. So a
Yeah.
player can feel like they're adding and helping in the clan, they're a part of the clan, they're doing their part by at least getting that 2-star. And I think that Supercell made it just a little bit easier to do so, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, as you're saying it, like every time as we're talking about this, my mind just starts. I could see, yeah, like in these type of, um, I it pumps me up, and there's still more stuff to come this month.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
did you see the judo video?
The one with the electro boots.
Yeah, I don't. Did you see the electro boots, or
So
just that he talked about it?
I didn't actually watch the video.
Okay, I did, and I think he just mentioned that because on the Supercell I App Store
Right?
description, they put out a don't miss statement.
Okay.
Did you read that?
No, I did not. I'm
Oh,
I'm really
okay.
curious right now. I'm
Okay.
getting
It
excited.
says, so what he said was, they post it, you know how where it like features and then it says don't miss. And it says, don't miss raid villages during the toy shop throwdown metal event. Okay. Raid villages during the toy shop throwdown metal event to obtain cogs and win clock keys to exchange for rewards. Grab epic hero equipment with the Royal Champions Electro Boots,
Right?
plus Snow Globe and Clashmas Choir decorations. The Goblin Maker will show you the ropes before you're joined by some returning temporary troops, including Sweet Warrior Cookie, like
Uh-huh.
cookie, like like a Pekka would be spelled,
The cookie Pekka. Yeah.
cookie peck, and Gingerbread Brawler Ram Rider.
Uh-huh.
Then unleash a little holiday magic with the Frosty Ice Wizard and present raining Santa surprise spell.
That's a little background music for you.
And my little bells. So we're getting an event too.
Tipdawg20, such a dork.
We put the little. Well, I should have read this beforehand, and I took the wrong screenshot. There's like a pause button right over what I'm trying to read here
Ah!
too. So,
But they but that
and
they released the electro boots, like to let the cat out of the bag, right?
yeah, yep, it is out of it is out of the bag.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Like how the RC is going to be? Well, do you think it's something that you will want to use?
I haven't seen what it does.
So my understanding of it is, and granted, part of this is all gossip, right? People are always gossiping about what Supercell could release, kind of like what we do
Or
on the podcast,
Supercell fake leaking.
right?
Well,
And
other
so I don't know. I don't know what this could mean, but we have the Electro Titan. And so I'm
ooh,
assuming that the Electro boots will have some type of aura about them like the Electro Titan does. So essentially, your RC becomes an E Titan, except, with the body of the RC rather than the body of the E Titan. Like that's how I think of it. But I mean, I could be completely off and completely wrong. If that's the case,
or
do
what
you
if?
see value in just this constant damage that this, circle of electricity could do to buildings as the RC moves through the village?
So you think there's going to be aura damage?
I think so.
I was kind of thinking about it as like the owl.
Oh, like lightning damage almost. Like
Yeah,
it connects, like Super Wizards almost.
like if maybe like whatever he's targeting or
Yeah, I mean that would
whatever's
make
around
sense.
the
So
RC.
so it would chain similar to how the E-Drag chains, similar to how the Super Wizard chains, similar to how the Owl chains,
I'm just
where if
gonna
you're
Google.
wearing the boots, whenever the RC throws the spear, it chains through buildings that are, certain number of tiles away, and maybe 3 buildings it chains through. Like that could be a possibility as well. I honestly don't know. It should be released soon. So I
Yeah.
mean, I imagine like we'll know. But either way, like I can see the value in both, whether it's chained attacks or whether it's aura damage, or maybe it's a little bit of both. But I can see value in that and
Oh,
the rocket spear. So
okay.
using the rocket spear in the beginning and then letting the RC wreak havoc on the rest of the base.
So I Googled this and it says periodically damages everything around the royal champion. Yeah. Oh, okay. You're right. It's aura. It's aura. You're right. It is. It is an aura.
So do you see yourself using that if that's the case?
Yeah. Hell to the yeah.
You're what would you pair it with?
Well, so I've been kind of experimenting with the
Uh-huh.
recall RC, um, or the and then so like you, and maybe I'm combining two things, but with the invis, you drop the RC, wait 4 seconds, and then invis the RC in the.
Uh-huh. Spirit walk.
Is that what it's called?
Yep, spirit walk.
Spirit walk, and then recaller,
Uh-huh.
and then even in mid throw, like if you as soon as you get what you want, recall, drop on the other side of the base where you want to like, or whenever you want with the thing activated, and then
Uh-huh.
they just come out. So for that attack, I don't think my hogs do what I really want. Like I should probably be using the shield.
Mm-hmm.
It's not maxed out yet. I'm like one level away. I think I would put that on it just because with the hogs I keep them on for right now just because sometimes I screw up the attack and then I don't do that part of it. And so I need the hogs. So
Mm-hmm.
the hogs just kind of ensure. So I think I just replace I keep the spear thrower or the spear and put that on there.
Yeah. I that's how I'm seeing it. But I mean, I guess we'll have to see whenever it comes out.
And it heals too, I think.
Oh, it heals.
Yeah, just I think from just these
Oh.
Reddit things I'm pulling. So this is all
Oh.
unconfirmed,
Unconfirmed. Yeah, we probably need to clarify
but
that.
if Supercell put up there on the on the
Yeah.
iTunes thing, we know it's coming. Just any
Yeah.
of the
Yep. Yep.
stats,
Yep.
but the image that I saw is an aura just like the Electro, and I love the E Titan, and this is what I'm struggling with my new army is that I've been using those E Titans, and now going back to Super Bowlers, I'm missing out on the benefit of that aura damage in killing those
Mm-hmm.
skellies. And like taking out a lot of the things that are going to slow them up
Yep. True.
in the middle.
True.
Um, you going to use it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll do a video on it as soon as it comes out. I already have several ideas. So I'll put out my official thoughts when the moment that it comes out for sure.
Awesome.
It'll probably be trash.
I'm never going to use it. Well,
Well, I got my trash series, where a new piece comes out and I do the trash with the piece like going into the trash can. I'll
oh
be like,
yeah.
so that's what I'll do. I'll be like, trash? And then I'll go and be like, no, this is the most amazing piece of equipment you could ever buy.
It always starts that way. Wait for that lava loon. I think Judo did mention coming up Queen Puppet. I don't know. I can't remember. Should have wrote that down. a queen puppet equipment or something like that, where the queen kind of follows you. I don't know. I'll edit this part out because
Yeah. Oh,
it,
that no, 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 I remember there is some Queen Puppet.
it's like a mini queen puppet or something. It was in the video, I think.
That rings a bell. I can't remember. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
The Queen Puppet.
where it must have been. It
Was
must
it
have
in
been
the
in that
Controllable
video.
Hero? The Controllable Hero then or something? Can't
Well,
remember what it
I
was.
think he mentioned it in this video that I watched, that he just released, that it was a mini queen puppet equipment that would be coming, maybe to pair with, that might be the new Minion Epic equipment down the road. Is a I could be
An Archer Queen Puppet?
an Archer Queen puppet
Or
for
yeah.
the is an epic equipment for the Minion Prince.
And I'm excited to see what they bring for the Minion Prince. Like I'm not again because I've made it pretty evident that I'm not an Air fan other than Lalo. I'm not an Air fan at all. But like the Minion Prince is a very very powerful hero. His HP's higher than the RC. His DPS is higher than the RC. Like he's really powerful. If it's really important for us to have him target defenses. We can put the angry jelly on him. Like he can do a lot. He's very powerful. And they also have a lot of room to improve upon him and make him more valuable and less niche, as in only being usable for air attacks
Yeah.
by making new pieces of equipment that make him more viable for ground attacks. And I'm super excited about that, to be honest with you.
Have you used him or is he down?
I've used them a little bit, but mainly because I have a hero that's upgrading on one of my lower accounts, and so I just replace him to have something there. But like I don't do air, and so I haven't used him that much.
I think he'd be great for that cleanup. If you
Yeah,
had an attack where you didn't rely on the RC, because I'm in that struggle where basically I said I'm not warring without heroes down. I can't live without my heroes down.
right,
With
right.
my heroes down anymore. Like it's been years.
Yeah,
Um, so I'm thinking like upgrade strategy in terms of I've got to get my heroes up. I've just been using books. Now I have the ability to have one down. And so I'm thinking I probably just take the Minion Prince
to max.
to max.
Yeah, that's what I would
Um
do.
and then or to a certain level that I could get my king up. Or do I just go all the way max and then come back to to do the other ones?
So what I've been doing is if I'm overflowing with Dark Elixir and I don't have a hero book, well, I don't want to waste that Dark Elixir, so I'm using a builder on the Minion Prince. Because I don't care if the
Yep.
Minion Prince is down at the moment, because the armies that I'm using are ground based.
Yep.
So therefore, I'm probably not going to use Minion Prince anyway. I'm not wasting DE. Like I'm keeping my pets down. My pets are going nonstop now. So,
Mine too.
and then once I get a hero book, that's when I'm using it on the king or the queen. Like my queen's almost done and my king's almost done as well. But that's when I'm using the hero book on the king or the queen. And if I don't have a book, then I'm putting it on the Minion Prince.
So are you going to keep a builder on the Minion Prince?
Only when I'm overflowing with DE. So
Okay.
if I ever reach the point where I have too much DE, I don't have a hero book. I don't want to have to do without my king or my queen for any of my attacks, but I also don't want to waste this DE. Well, then I'll put a builder on the Minion Prince in order to not waste DE. That's the only time that I do it.
Okay. Cuz I'm
Otherwise, I don't care. Like I'm not focusing on the. I'm not like I got to get the Minion Prince to max as quickly as possible. It's just oh crap, I have too much DE. I don't want to waste it. Well, I might as well put the Minion Prince down. Like that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
okay. Yeah, cuz I'm thinking to myself like I would love to be I'm going to keep now I can keep one builder on a hero
Mm-hmm.
until I get him maxed out. And I even thought maybe what I'll do is during the weekday wars, swap out the RC for a while to do like one level on the RC. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of trade in and out with that.
I would love to see an epic piece of equipment that weighs him down, something that brings him down to the ground. That's what I would love to see.
Oh, like makes him bounce or something.
Or makes him bounce, or like maybe a kettlebell that he has to swing, that he has to carry around,
Yeah.
and the kettlebell's so heavy that he can't fly with it, but he knocks shit around on the ground, kind of a thing. Like I would love to see that brought in
I've
as
been
of equipment.
I've been dying to ask you how you think the owl would work on the Minion Prince.
That's what I have on the Minion Prince right
You
now is
do?
the owl. Yeah.
Does it just kick butt?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I haven't been using the Minion Prince much,
Oh,
so
okay. But when you
but
have like
yeah, I mean, he does very well. He performs very well. He's a very strong hero. It's just he goes down to black mines. If you're doing a
it,
ground attack and you put him in your ground army, he goes down to black mines, and
he
so
does,
that
huh?
that's a huge problem. And that's why I'm thinking, well, let's make him ground based somehow. Like give him a kettlebell that he can swing around. That anytime you have that piece of equipment on, he's not an air troop anymore, or something like
Yeah.
that would be really nice. Then I can start using him, and then he's a valid you know, fifth hero that we can use with any of our attacks, ground or air, when right now, literally, he's pretty much only good for air attacks.
Be kind of cool if they gave him like a whirlwind or something that like it when it was on him, it would push if the air bombs went off, it would push them away.
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting. Like a pushback mechanism.
Yeah, like kind of like an air sweeper.
I like that idea.
I could see that
It would
like
do the same with the CC troops, like CC troops coming at your troops. Got the Minion Prince on it. He blows them back.
yeah. Well, does he? I wonder if his ability kind of does that now a little bit.
The freeze mechanism kind of does the, I don't know what you call it, the Minion Prince arrow, the the
Yeah,
the freeze arrow, whatever it is. Like that kind of does it. It slows them down if he's shooting at them.
mine's going to 74 right now, and so
You're a
I keep
beast.
thinking it's going to be forever, and it is. Getting him up there, but like builder potions in there and whatnot, like um, he'll be up in that range, and then as soon as my other heroes get caught up, it'll be quick to get him done. I think. At least there's a good avenue for upgrading, and I think that this makes it easier for free to play players too
Yeah, I
to
agree.
upgrade the equipment. Uh, I wish I wish I'd had this a long time ago. My heroes would be much farther along. Oh, okay. Yikes. Um, anything else you want to get to? I think.
No, I think so. I'm looking forward 2 weeks from now. Like I'm gonna make a list of stuff that I would like to see in game, and so I'm excited to talk to you about those ideas.
Yeah, I think we did. We went through all these things on my list here. Um, well, shout outs this week then.
Big shout out to Chewy for helping me out with CWL. And a huge shout out to everybody in the clan, because we and I don't want to name people, but we've had people who maybe something went wrong with the attack, and they weren't able to get that second star, and we've been rotating people out, and everybody's been really cool with it. Like I think everybody understands that we, like, literally, we don't care if you 3-star or not. Like we're not that
Yeah,
type of clan, but we're also trying to push to where we're getting better as a group. And that's the focus. It's
yeah,
as a group. We're not getting better. Granted, we will, as a result, get better individually, but we're wanting to improve as a group. And so, for the betterment of the group, we have this rotating CWL in place, and everybody's been really chill with it, super encouraging. So, big shout out to everybody in the clan for going along with this for us as we test it and try it out, see what worked for us as a clan and all of that.
yeah. I like that extra layer so far. Like of just personally, of kind of that okay performance. It's gonna. I
It's just a
really
little
got to dial
push,
in. Yeah, it's a
just a
little.
little bit.
It's a little push, and it's a little push like clan wide. I think to say, hey, we are we're making sure everybody's pushing. you know,
Right.
doing that
Right.
thing. So if people aren't putting in their time, you know, the next person's going in, and I don't know. I think people kind of enjoy that extra little thing, and it's not personal, right? Everybody's in the mix of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think keeping it like that is really nice. So I'm just gonna shout out you guys again for doing that. It adds a little bit more spice to it. Uh, thanks Tyler for those some of the ideas with
Mm-hmm.
this Aura
100%.
War and um stuff too, and uh the guys over in CQ Revolution who I did an Aura War with. Uh, everybody in the House of Hell. This is every time I get this close. I'm right beforehand thinking of all these shout outs. Uh, just killing it in this CWL, having a good time. And so looking forward to seeing what more could possibly come out for the rest of the month. Um, and I mean, even just like 3 days ago, I think there was things that we thought we would be talking about, or had no idea that we would be talking about
Yep.
even today.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I guess it's an exciting Clashmas season. Uh,
Very much so.
I'm looking forward to the new year. So, well, until next time, get a hold of us, clashclanspodcast at gmail.com, or clashclanspodcast.com, and you can, find Tip on YouTube at Clash Tips, uh, or stop by the House of L or the House of L2. So, until next time, keep it clashy.
Jiggle those balls.
Ding, 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 ding.